Hey, in today's video, we'll discuss the Hocus Pocus 3 teaser trailer. After waiting 29 years for a sequel to the first film released in 1993, there is speculation that Disney may spoil us with 2 rapid-fire Hocus Pocus sequels. Disney hasn't officially announced that a third part is on the way, but considering how well Hocus Pocus 2 is doing in cinemas, Disney would have to be crazy not to give fans more of what they want. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, so let's jump into it. The Sanderson sisters are back. It took Disney 29 years to finally release a sequel to the 1993 film Hocus Pocus. The fans' expectations were as high as they would be for any other Disney movie, but the fans were understandably cautious. No one had any idea how they would portray the character created with the technology available in 1993 with the special effects and cameras we have today. There were also question marks about the cast. Although the cast was the same as before, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy, they weren't as young as they used to be in 1993. How would they fit in with the new blood, which was added in the movie, and would it be the same as it was 29 years ago? Hocus Pocus 2 was released in September of 2022, and in just a couple of days, it shattered all expectations and doubts. Fans loved it just as much, if not more, than the last one. The Sanderson sisters nailed it and made the movie into a memorable one. Fans left the cinemas feeling rejuvenated, refreshed, even older fans who had watched the first movie as children. Hocus Pocus 2 is doing so well that some fans have already started demanding the third movie. It took them around 48 hours to eat up the new content and start screaming for more. Maybe they're starting early this time around, so they don't have to wait another 29 years. Now, that would be clever. Will they get what they want? Sarah Jessica Parker, the familiar face from Sex and the City, plays Sarah Sanderson, one of the 3 witch sisters. She mentioned in an interview that she never really thought she would play the character again, but her on-screen and off-screen sister, Bette Midler, sure did. Sarah stated that Bette would always talk about there being a Hocus Pocus 2, and part of the reason Sarah said yes to a revival was, in fact, Bette and her enthusiasm for the film. Bette Midler plays Winifred Sanderson, Sarah's sister. When Sarah Jessica Parker was asked whether she would do the third movie, she answered in a very non-headline-making way. She didn't immediately shut any rumors, but said that if Bette wanted her to do another film, she would do it. Now that's sisterly love. This statement was perhaps the spark that lit the fire in the hearts of the fans. They were desperate for a third movie and didn't even know it until Sarah mentioned it. People looked for tiny hints and started coming up with all sorts of theories. Intrigued so far? Stay with us as we dissect the clues we found in Hocus Pocus 2 and what they mean for its sequel. Let's continue. What happened in Hocus Pocus 2? For those who didn't know, the 3 witch sisters were killed in the last film. It was 1693 when we last saw the sisters causing chaos in the world. And in the sequel, they came back after more than 300 years. They were back to wreak havoc. And before we say what happens, we must give you a spoiler alert. The sisters were beckoned by their black flame candle, and it was Gilbert who had decided it was a good idea to revive the witches. The witches repay the favor by imprisoning Becca and Izzy in the basement. Gilbert, it turns out, was wrong about the sisters not being power-hungry and wicked. The eldest witch, Winnie, had the greed for power on her mind and found a spell that would give her all the power she wanted. On reviving the sisters, Gilbert also basically handed them their magical spell book. And if that wasn't enough, he ended up getting enchanted into helping the witches gather the various reagents they needed to complete their spell. The only problem was they needed the blood of an adversary, so they decided to use the mayor's. Before the witches could grab the mayor, however, Becca and Izzy had escaped the basement and had warned the mayor's daughter that the witches were back. Loads of memorable, magical, and funny moments later, the sisters realized that they could just use the blood of the mayor's daughter because she had her father's blood. Towards the end, Becca wanted to stop the witches from getting to perform the spell and used her newfound witch abilities to fight off the 3 sisters. Becca fights well, but eventually gets overpowered by Winnie. The spell was ready, but it required major sacrifice to be completed. Winnie was so overcome with the greed for power that she willingly sacrificed both of her sisters. Once it had all played out, Winnie finally remembered that she loved her sisters and couldn't imagine life without them, and gave her life willingly to join them once more. She compliments Becca for her strength while going. That wasn't the end, though. She saw a raven flying behind the sisters, keeping an eye on them at the very end. That raven is believed to be the Sandersons family's magic teacher, Witch Mother. This scene is the source of all the rumors about Hocus Pocus 3. Not to mention the post-credits scene, which shows us that Gilbert owns another black flame candle, like the one he used to revive the sisters. These are massive hints dropped by Disney about whether we will get to see Hocus Pocus 3. They even gave away some of the main pieces of the next movie's plot. What could Hocus Pocus 3 look like? Fans think we will see Mother Witch as one of the main characters if and when the next movie comes out. It'd be fun to see someone who taught the three witch sisters how to be cruel. Can you imagine how cold-blooded Mother Witch would be if the sisters were already that bad? Perhaps when things get too much to handle for Mother Witch, she could find a way to get her hands on the black flame candle in Gilbert's home and revive the Sanderson sisters. The Three Stooges would then be the Four Fools, stumbling around the magic world, cooking up all sorts of evil schemes. We're just excited to see a new character who is Mother Witch and see how she fits into the story. We may get to know an apology by Winnie for being so overcome with her want for power that she compromised the bond between the sisters. It was Becca's 18th birthday on the day Hocus Pocus 2 was set, and as soon as she was of age, she unlocked her magical side and discovered that she too was a witch. She will surely be one of the significant characters in Hocus Pocus 3. Her sidekick Izzy is also expected to return. Who among the cast returns? Many expected Disney to have to change the cast for Hocus Pocus 2, but surprisingly, they were able to reunite most of the cast of the original movie. 29 years did make a difference though, but since they were playing witches, the new looks of the cast fitted perfectly with the characters. If Hocus Pocus 3 is to arrive as soon as most people think, we'll undoubtedly get to see the leading trio and others return once again. Considering the actresses themselves are saying they would be back, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy are sure to return. Hannah Waddingham as Mother Witch is rumored to be the main character, at least at the movie's beginning. The newer generation will definitely feature Disney encourages new blood to ensure the franchise keeps evolving and to invite interest from the new generation. Becca, Izzy, and Cassie, played by Whitney Peak, Melissa Escobedo, and Lilla Buckingham, respectively, will be seen again as Becca explores her newfound abilities. Gilbert will have a role in the story as well. He has the candle in his house, and if we're to see the Sanderson sisters again, he'll have to be willing to give the candle up. Or maybe Mother Witch will just steal the candle without Gilbert's permission. Musicals and dances. The story is supposed to be spooky and based around Halloween, but Hocus Pocus is, after all, a Disney film. All Disney movies feature multiple catchy musicals, and this one will be nothing different. If you're a fellow Disney viewer, you would know how essential musicals can be in terms of character development. These musicals aren't just a break in the story to show us how much the characters are enjoying themselves. In Frozen, Elsa sings her way into becoming Queen of the Snow Mountain, and she changes from a scared, under-pressure princess to a confident, powerful queen. Perhaps we'll see one of our characters change like that through a musical, or maybe Mother Witch will sing us a catchy, memorable song as she works on reviving the Sanderson sisters. The ideas are limitless, but let's see what Disney chooses to do. When will the movie be released? It feels weird talking about all this based merely on a guess. We admit we're getting ahead of ourselves, and all this enthusiasm may well turn into disappointment. Yes, Disney hasn't even announced whether there will be a new movie, but in our defense, the post-credits scene in Hocus Pocus 2 was in itself a teaser trailer for Hocus Pocus 3. Why would Disney put that in if they weren't going to produce a third movie? For argument's sake, let's just say Hocus Pocus 3 is confirmed and make an estimate as to how long it will take for it to be in cinemas near us. Keep in mind, as of recording this video, Hocus Pocus 2 has only been out for a week, so a third movie would take quite some time to be completed. First off, there will be production, then there is filming, and finally the editing. But before all that, Disney must decide that they should add a third part to the franchise, and for that to happen, Disney must be 100% sure that the film will return a profit. It is a business after all. There will be a huge budget and wages to pay, so Disney will undoubtedly throw the numbers they get from Hocus Pocus 2 around and conclude whether a third movie would work. Considering the second part is still new on the block, let's give it some time before we expect to hear anything from Disney. The only thing we can do is help Disney make the decision. They're going to be looking at how many people watched the second movie, so why don't we go on and increase that number? Ask yourself, do you want to see a third Hocus Pocus movie? Yes? Then we urge you to watch the film and increase its ratings. If all goes well, the third installment should be on our screens around Halloween 2024, and that should be enough time for Disney to make up its mind and produce the movie. All right, guys, that's about all the time we have for today. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy our content, and we'll see you when we find some more hot Disney news or rumors. Until then, keep in touch with all the news around Hocus Pocus 3 because we think something cool is coming.